This is what we are. We are.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hey, hello. Wow, the screen is quite big. But I have to be here. Hey, hi, my name is Joana. I'm happy to be here. I'm from Barcelona. We are between Barcelona and Berlin, but now I'm here, and I'm very happy to speak here. It's always nice to speak at home. So today I'm going to introduce two projects of mine that deal with surveillance from two very different perspectives. So this is a project I released in 2016, but it took many, many, many years to do it. It's called the Virtual Watchers. But I need to explain what's interesting about this project and what's behind the project. So this project basically looks at the way the US crowdsourced the surveillance of the national security through social media and gamification means. So that's what I'm going to explain now. So I'm not sure if somebody that lived in the US know about Blue Servo. Blue Servo was an initiative that was launched by the Texas state. And basically, it allowed people to monitor the US-Mexico border 24 hours from their homes, which in the way that this means that society was being militarized in a very silent way, and through gamification means, which I think it's something that, the case in Cambridge Analytica and what IAM also talk about, it's something that's very present now. So Blue Servo was this site. Gabriel, can you put the site on? The site was offline for quite some time, and suddenly, I'm not sure if it's a casualty, but when Trump gained power, this site was on again. Random, totally. So this is the site. So here in this site, you could just have access to those beautiful videos about people being detained by the sheriff coalition. I'm not sure how do you say this in the US. I'm getting a little bit lost, but the border police. And those are videos of detentions carried out thanks to the anonymous reports done by Blue Servo users. So I could easily be in Barcelona looking at the border, which was sort of looked like a video game, make a report, and some border patrol would go there and arrest these guys. The thing about this, and the biggest joke, is that there was no way to verify whether those images were real or not, and whether your actions had a real impact or not. So it was everything. It was a big game, And even you, as a user, you were easily being fooled, in a way. That was, well, now I mean, you don't have videos, but here's where you could monitor the border. You had two screens. You could make a comment, ask a question, report suspicious activities, and under each camera, there was an explanation how to carry out this surveillance. They were telling you exactly what you had to focus on. So here it comes the big joke, that as you can see here, like Blue Servo had more than 200,000 volunteers, users, and this represented more than 1 million of free labor for the sheriff, 1 million hours. And that's a lot. But, on the other hand, it didn't end up in so many interdictions, just 5,000 interdictions. Which is still a lot, but if you compare the amount of detentions carried out by the Department of Homeland Security, just in 2011, it was more than 600,000. And we're talking here about 4 years, of free labor from these users. So what it shows, these numbers, it sort of states that this platform wasn't really effective in terms of detaining people that were crossing the border, or border violence, criminals, whatever, drug trading, and so on. But it was very effective in keeping people monitoring the border. And that's the most interesting thing. So after seeing that, I was wondering, okay, who's these people that are monitoring the border, what they are doing, what they are spending so many hours in their homes, in front of this screen, just pressing this red button, right? Like report suspicious activities. So then I found this Facebook group. This Facebook group was gathering Blue Servo users that the users made this Facebook group in order to be able to communicate with each other. Because in the Blue Servo site, you couldn't communicate. There was no chat. There was no any form you could talk to each other. So they just did that. Yeah? And this was sort of the stuff that you could find there. But what was most interesting of this group is that suddenly the people that were watching were being watched. Yeah? And even you could have much more detailed information about all these people than the people that were crossing the border. Because even you see in these videos, you couldn't really see whether were men, women, children, which age, nationality, nothing. But here, everybody was providing very, very precise information about themselves, right? And this was insane. Yeah, this sort of comments like Mr. Items, not in order previous screen. Does anyone know what they are? Yeah, maybe they are swimmers. Oh, Mr. Solve, just branches and leaves, and that's it. Therefore, people reported this, yeah? And people were really engaged in the website. They were reporting everything. And something that this website promoted is you just act and then think about it. And I think that's really draws like a parallel line to the way that we use websites, the way that we use apps. Just do, then think about what's going on with your data, what's happening afterwards, and so on. OK, so then I created this character. This is Maryanne Smith. I use this character in order to infiltrate the Facebook group and interact with the people in order to understand more like their motives that drove them to do what they were doing. So this was my first interaction, the Facebook group, and this was like this beautiful white family. It's like, OK, what's going on camera one? It's like, I could see something moving, but I'm not sure if it's an alien. And then he goes, I saw lots of activity about an hour ago, several people moving back and forth between the white building and the river bank. And yeah, I hope none of them got to the US. Do you think they might be drug dealers? Said, well, I don't know, but I reported it. And then I thought that maybe they're just fishing, right? But nevertheless, I just reported it. And I said, yeah, maybe, but they're taking our fishes too. Is there a law against it? And yeah, well, then the guy just left me alone. He didn't answer back. But it's this sort of very absurd discussions over there. Yeah? Whoops, no. So then, Gabriel, can we see the project now? Yeah, can you close all these tabs, please? Thank you. You can. Well, so that's the project. So this project, like the Virtual Watchers, it's just this online documentary of my life as a virtual watcher in Facebook. So here what I did, I downloaded everything from the Facebook page, all the comments, all the pictures, all the profiles, everything that was available. We didn't hack any account, we didn't do anything. So all the information gathered here was just public completely. And this, we did a research with a French anthropologist called Cédric Parisot. We analyzed all the profiles one by one, and that's what we came out with. So we had these sort of conversations like, yeah, this girl on Friday, 25th of June 2010, yeah, I just caught 4 drug dealers, ha ha ha, on camera 5. I caught 3 drug dealers yesterday on the same camera. Great. And then you could see comments like, yeah, no, the one, you were right. Like, I don't think I need to read that, but like very highly racist comments. And then we could see like the full conversations. We could see like pictures, people that shared everything. We have like all the user profiles also, male, women, age, distance from the border, and so on. Can you click on the profile, user profile, please? Thank you. You can bring it up. Oh. Yeah, you see? Like gender male, 50, 60, white, he was a chef. And this is all the stuff that they shared in Facebook. Yeah, so again, we had very precise information on these people, but really not in the people that were crossing the border. So even the people that were crossing the border, they could just log into Facebook and spy on these people, yeah? And have like fight back in a way. Well, this project is online. I don't want to spend a lot of more time on it because I want to explain other things. But one thing that was particularly alarming is that most of the users of Blue Servo, at least in this Facebook group that gathered 400 users, more or less, there were people that were mostly retired, sick, or unemployed. So for them, to use this platform was a way to socialize. So let's just surveil some people, like not allowing them to come into the US because we are deeply bored. Yeah? And that's what was it. Exactly. But as if boredom is something that is being highly exploited in the business of data as well. And well, that's, I can answer any question when we finish. So can we go to the presentation? Yeah. So this project, I released it last year. It's called Algorithms Allowed. So what this project is looking at is that Google Analytics and Facebook Connect, mostly, because are the most used trackers in the world, especially Google Analytics. So I was researching how Google Analytics were found in countries that they were embargoed by the US government. Yeah? This is a little bit maybe hard to understand, but I'm going to go step by step, so you're going to get it. Which is Cuba, Crimea, Iran, Crimea, like the region in Ukraine, Iran, North Korea, Sudan, and Syria. Yeah, those like the embargoed countries. That there is any transaction between these countries is totally forbidden. Yeah, this includes data and software and so on. So online tracking. I mean, I guess you heard a lot about online tracking during these days. I'm just going to explain it very, very in a simple way in case somebody missed something. But it's this process of collecting data anonymously in order to create profiles. Yeah? That's what it is. Well, when you have like any online activity through apps, through websites, and so on. And even if you don't have any activity, just by having your phone on. Yeah? Just there is companies that are continuously tracking you through different technologies. One of them are cookies. So how the data collection goes, it's like you do just online activity. Anything, you shop at shops, you buy plane tickets, I don't know, anything that you can think of. Yeah? This data is being collected by the same sites that you interact with, sometimes also the data brokers, which is this person that is in charge to deal with your data. Yeah? It's like a trader. And then all this information is generally collected by the data brokers. Yeah, there is a lot of companies that they just sell this data to a data broker company, and then they just trade with your data and make money. This is in a very simplistic way. That's how it works. Yeah. So what happened with Google Analytics? Yeah, Google Analytics, it's a free service. How many people is using Google Analytics here in their website? OK, great. So it's a technology that's being widely used. Yeah. So basically, when you visit a website that has Google Analytics embedded, there is a JS JavaScript code that activates and records data. Yeah, this includes like location, which sites you visit before, which site you're going to visit after this site, time, I don't know, and many number of things that you can customize when you use the service. Yeah. So that is sent to a Google server, and Google elaborates a report based on this data. But this means that this Google server is located somewhere in the world, because we tend to forget that the internet is a very highly physical infrastructure. Yeah? And there are servers that are all over the world in physical territories. And most of the Google servers, even though you have Google servers also in Europe and in other places, but generally they are not very publicly disclosed, just some of them. But I wonder that most of them are in the US. Yeah? So let's say that I'm going to a website, there is this Google Analytics script that is being activated, it records all this data from myself, and it's sending it physically to a Google server that is in the US. Yeah, so even if I'm in Barcelona, all my data is in the US right now. Yeah, and then there is also the elaborates report. That's when you log into the Google Analytics page, and you have all these beautiful drawings about the interactions in your website and blah, blah, blah. So this website is being loaded. I mean, it comes to your computer, but it's being downloaded probably from a Google server located in the US. Maybe not. Maybe it's in Europe, because there is a lot of these CDN infrastructures, but I can't speak about it, because then we'll be here like another hour. But You know, you get the idea, right? More or less. So the whole thing with this project started when I wondered, somebody invited me to this very strange exhibition. They asked me to do something weird to sell in eBay. So I said, OK, so I'm going to see if there is trackers, like American trackers, is a North Korean site. So I visit this website, the official webpage of Democratic Republic of North Korea. And yes, I saw the Google Analytics cookie here, some of that. I mean, yeah, you can see it here in the code. I said, OK, so it's great. So what I'm going to do in eBay, I'm going to sell this tracker. I'm just going to copy-paste the source code. I'm going to put it in a TXT file, and I'm going to send it for $30 in eBay. And that's going to be my contribution to this exhibition. And that's it. So after I had all this here prepared, and everything was ready, and just like, yes, submit, I got this message. And here it says, attention sellers, embargoed goods. eBay's policy prohibits the sale of most items that originate from North Korea. So it's like, OK, I just copy-paste the source code of a North Korean site in Barcelona in my computer, and I want to sell this text, has nothing to do with North Korea at all, because it's Google Analytics, which is an American company, yeah, and you don't allow me to sell it. But I said, OK, I will take the risk. Oops, and then I have this red message. It's like, OK, you're not going to sell this. You can't do it, yeah? Because our policy prohibits it. So it was completely ridiculous, but nevertheless, there is like another algorithm, basically this eBay, because this was, how you call it, right away. I mean, it wasn't that I waited a little bit and some human was behind making a decision. This was just algorithmic decision-making. Yeah? And I couldn't do it. And I realized, OK, how much agency those algorithms have. It's not that I didn't know, but here it was like a live proof of that. So then what I said is like, OK, I'm just going to keep on researching if other embargoed countries have Google Analytics, yeah, in the websites that are hosted in that countries. And I found quite a lot. Yeah? Here's the page of official exports control services, which clearly states that the embargoed sanctions, Crimea, region of Ukraine, Cuba, Iran, North Korea, Sudan, and Syria, prohibit all transactions, yeah, without a license authorization. In targeted sanctions, prohibit certain export of items, data, and/or software without a license authorization. Yeah. So, just to say it again, when you have like Google Analytics embedded in your site, it's being a transaction of data between countries. So I'm here, again, and I'm visiting a Google Analytics, a page that has Google Analytics, and my data is going to this server in the US or any other country. Yeah? But there is a transaction of information, of data, yeah? That, of course, has a commercial value, as we've already seen previously. So I started to research, and wow, I found that the official website of the president of Iran had Google Analytics, right? I mean, and that's a lot of information for the government of the US as well, not just for Google. And yeah, like the official Communist Party website of Cuba also had Google Analytics. And yeah, the e-government of Syria had Google Analytics. And yeah, I mean, that was highly impressive. Can you show the site, Gabriel, please? And many more. I mean, there is the Ministry of Defense of Iran also has Google Analytics. Yeah? And it's not that some guys from Google decide to put the cookie there. I mean, the webmasters or the developers of this website just said, hey, well, let's use Google Analytics because it's useful, right, in our website. But there is like this general acknowledgement of how much agency code has. And algorithms, well, code algorithms. And this is something that it has to be much more visible. And I'm not sure in a way that it has to be visible in a browser, but I think it has to be highly embedded in the social imagination, because it is not. Because as I say, internet is highly visible. highly visible, sorry, it's highly invisible. It's the biggest infrastructure that humanity has ever built, but it's really not visible again. It is not. And it's super physical. And just to finish, I'm going to show like last project, because Andres asked me to, about physicality of internet. Can you put the next tab? Yeah. Okay. That, the amount of CO2 that the global visits to google.com generates. That's an average. Yeah, this is something I released in 2014, which try to connect or reflect on this, I got my English. Reflect, generate thoughts and critics on how much material the internet is, yeah? And the environmental impact of our online activity, including tracking. Now I'm doing a project with tracking, yeah? Together, we wrote a big text together with Vlad and Yoler, which Katrina just showed one of his projects before, on the material impacts of surveillance as well, yeah? Of online activity and so on. So that's how much it is, and still, I mean, that's an estimate, but it could go more or less that way. So I think I spoke a little bit too long, so I'm going to leave it here, and yeah, thank you.
In randomness, we trust.